Why has the leader of the Burkina Faso coup captured the hearts and minds of the world? At just 37 years old, the magnetic figure of Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, has expertly crafted the image of a Pan-African leader determined to liberate his country from what he calls the claws of Western imperialism and neocolonialism. His message has reverberated across Africa and beyond, with admirers viewing him as the heir to African heroes, like Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary Marxist icon, often hailed as the Che Guevara of Africa. Global influence. Beverly Ochieng, a security analyst specializing in the Sahel and global power dynamics at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, shared with the BBC, Traoré's influence is immense. I've even heard politicians and authors in countries like Kenya, East Africa, say, "It's him. He is the hero." Ochieng believes Traoré's message reflects the times we live in, with many Africans questioning their relationship with the West, and why poverty persists on a continent so rich in resources. Breaking dependency. Aligning with Russia and economic reform. After taking power through a coup in 2022, Traoré's regime turned its back on its former colonial ruler France and instead forged a robust alliance with Russia. This included the deployment of Russian paramilitary brigades and the adoption of leftist economic policies. These policies involve the creation of state-owned mining companies, demanding foreign firms transfer 15% of their local shares and technology to the people of Burkina Faso. This directive also applies to the Russian-owned Nordgold mining group, which was granted permission to invest in Burkina Faso's gold industry at the end of April 2024. As part of his revolution to ensure Burkina Faso benefits from its mineral wealth, the military government is building a gold refinery and establishing the nation's first-ever gold reserves. However, Western companies are struggling with this new direction. Sarama Resources, an Australian-based firm, filed a lawsuit against Burkina Faso in late 2024 after its exploration license was revoked. The government also nationalized 2 gold mines previously owned by a London-listed company and announced plans to take control of more foreign-owned mines. This bold political and economic shift is a clear message to both the West and the global community. Burkina Faso is no longer willing to remain at the mercy of foreign interests. In the eyes of its people, and increasingly across the African continent, Ibrahim Traoré is not just a leader. He's a symbol of resistance, autonomy, and a fierce determination to redefine Africa's future. The revolutionary image. Shaped through social media. Enoch Randy Akins, a researcher at the South African Institute for Security Studies, commented to the BBC that Traoré's radical reforms have boosted his popularity across Africa he can now be considered the most beloved president in Africa. This fame has been further propelled through social media, with misleading posts helping to reinforce his image as a revolutionary. AI-generated videos have even created images of music stars like Kelly Rihanna, Justin Bieber, and Beyoncé praising Traoré, despite the fact that they never actually did. Ochieng explains that Traoré first garnered attention from Africans when he spoke at the 2023 Russia-Africa Summit, calling on African leaders to stop behaving like puppets every time imperialists pull the strings. This speech was heavily promoted by Russian media, becoming a key tool in advancing Traoré's Pan-African image. Thanks to his eloquence and a well-executed social media campaign, his influence spread globally, reaching African Americans and Black Britons. Criticism from the West. French President Emmanuel Macron is not supportive of Traoré, describing him as part of a strange alliance between self-styled Pan-Africanists and neo-imperialists. In a 2023 speech, Macron alluded to Russia and China, accusing them of inciting coups in former French colonies in Africa, while hypocritically reigniting debates about sovereignty and colonial exploitation. Security challenges and crackdown on dissent. Despite his widespread support, Traoré has failed to deliver on his promise to quash the decade-long Islamist insurgency, a conflict that has deepened ethnic divisions and spread to previously peaceful neighboring countries like Benin. His military government has also cracked down on dissent, including opposition parties. The media and civil society groups punishing critics such as doctors and judges by sending them to the front lines against jihadist insurgents. Rinaldo Depagne, Deputy Director for Africa at the International Crisis Group, suggests that Traoré's popularity stems from his youth in a country with a young population, the average age being 17.7 years. He told the BBC, Traoré understands media and uses the past to build a popular image as a reincarnation of Sankara. He knows the art of politics, how to make a war-torn country believe in a brighter future. Sankara's legacy and the new political trend. Sankara was a military officer, a Marxist revolutionary, and a Pan-Africanist who served as the president of Burkina Faso from 1983 until his assassination in 1987. Widely regarded as a symbol of the post-colonial revolutionary movement in Africa, he was often referred to as the Che Guevara of Africa. Sankara rose to power through a coup at the age of 33 in 1983, rallying the nation under the slogan, "Fatherland or death we shall overcome." He was assassinated 4 years later in another coup, which ultimately brought Burkina Faso back under the political influence of France until Traoré assumed power. Professor Kwesi Anning, a Ghanaian security expert who worked at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, noted that the popularity of this military leader reflects the political transformation currently unfolding across the continent, particularly in West Africa. A 2024 survey across 39 African countries by Afrobarometer revealed a decline in support for democracy, even though it remains the most favored form of government. Professor Anning said, "Democracy has failed to deliver hope for the youth. It hasn't created jobs or improved education and health care." He argued that Traoré is offering an alternative choice and evoking the spirit of two historical periods: the post-independence era, with leaders like Kwame Nkrumah Ghana and Kenneth Kaunda Zambia, and the later period with Sankara and Ghana's Jerry Rawlings, who was also highly popular after carrying out a coup in 1979. What future awaits the young captain? At the inauguration of Ghana's President John Mahama in January 2024, Traoré made a striking impression by appearing in military combat uniform with a handgun at his side. Professor Anning recounts, "There were 21 heads of state there, but when Traoré entered, the whole room lit up. Even my president's bodyguards ran after him." He noted that Traoré creates a sharp contrast with many other African leaders, those who struggle to travel but cling to power through electoral fraud. Traoré is stylish and confident, with an open face and a slight smile. He is also a gifted orator, presenting himself as a man of the people. Economic prospects and tensions with the West. Signs that the Russia-friendly government has made some economic progress include positive assessments from the IMF and World Bank. In an early April 2024 statement, the IMF noted that despite the challenging security and humanitarian environment, the economy was expected to remain strong in 2025, also acknowledging commendable progress in increasing domestic revenue, controlling public spending, and boosting budgets for education, health, and social welfare. The World Bank reported inflation rising from 0.7% 2023 to 4.2% 2024. But the extreme poverty rate, living under $2.15 a day, dropped nearly 2 percentage points to 24.9% due to strong growth in agriculture and services. However, relations with France and the United States remain chilly. A notable example is the comment from General Michael Langley, commander of U.S. Africa Command AFRICOM, who stated that Traoré is using the country's gold reserves to protect the military government rather than the nation's interests. This remark seems to echo the long-standing view held by the U.S. and some African allies that Russian forces are supporting Traoré in exchange for stakes in Burkina Faso's gold industry undermining the image of the military leader who expelled French troops in 2023 to reaffirm sovereignty. Coup plot and wave of support. General Langley's remarks before the U.S. Senate Committee in early April 2024 sparked outrage among Traoré's supporters, who felt their idol was being defamed. The tension escalated when shortly after the Burkina Faso government announced it had thwarted a coup attempt, accusing the plotters of being based in neighboring Ivory Coast, where General Langley had visited soon after. Despite Ivory Coast denying any involvement, and AFRICOM claiming the visit focused on addressing common security challenges, including violent extremism. The military government seized on the incident to organize one of the largest demonstrations in the capital of Burkina Faso. The protest warned against the imperialist and puppet forces attempting to overthrow the government. Musician Ochibi Yohan told the AP, Colin Powell lied Iraq was destroyed. Barack Obama lied Gaddafi was killed. But this time, their lies will not affect us. On the same day, support rallies for Traoré were held abroad, including in London. On social media, Traoré posted in both French and English to express gratitude to those who supported his vision for a new Burkina Faso and a new Africa, asserting, "Together in solidarity, we will defeat imperialism and neocolonialism for a free, dignified, and independent Africa." Lessons from the past. It is difficult to predict the future of the young captain, but he, alongside the military leaders of Mali and Niger, has undoubtedly shaken West Africa, inspiring other countries to follow suit and demand the withdrawal of French troops. The three neighboring countries also withdrew from the regional trade and security bloc, ECOWAS, forming their own alliance and ending free trade by imposing tariffs on imported goods. Aikens comments that Traoré could learn from predecessors like Jerry Rawlings of Ghana, who came to power at 32, with the nickname Junior, Jesus, but after 19 years in power, left a mixed legacy, as he could not prevent corruption, despite helping to build a sustainable democracy. For a lasting legacy, Aikens advises Traoré to focus on peace and building strong state institutions, rather than personalizing power and suppressing dissent.